Just quick disclaimer, today is a demo. This is not intended to be a tutorial. However, I will walk you guys through all the steps. I'll try to explain everything I'm doing, and I hope that I inspire you guys, okay? But mostly I just want to hang out with you guys and get to know you. So please use this time to ask me questions. You can ask me anything. You can ask me about my brand, about myself, about running a business, anything you want. This is my time to get to know you guys and hang out with you guys. So I love when you guys ask me questions. So where are you all joining me from? Okay, so to get things started, I'm going to wrap the kyanite first. So I'm using, this is square. I don't want square. Okay. Good thing I read the label. Okay. We're going to be using round copper wire. So we're going to start off with 20 gauge round copper wire, and all my wire is from riogrande.com. That's where I prefer to buy all my wire, and they do ship international. They're located here in the United States, but they do ship international. Toronto. Well, good morning from Toronto. Hello. Okay, so I'm very bad at measuring things. I get just impatient, so I always just eyeball the lengths of wire that I decide to use. So I'm probably gonna cut off like a foot. For me, it's pretty safe to always cut off a foot. That's kind of what I like to work with, especially with copper. Since copper is more affordable, I'm okay like taking extra and having some left over. So again, this is round 20 gauge copper wire, and I cut off about a foot. Yep, riogrande.com. Perfect. Thank you so much. Hippie the artist will put that in the comments for us. Thank you. And if I ever say your usernames wrong, you guys, I'm so sorry about that. Fun fact about me, I'm actually originally German, so for some reason pronouncing names has never been my forte. I like to blame my accent, but who knows what. Good morning, you guys. Okay, so I took that, the wire, which was about a foot, and I cut it into two pieces, one for each. So you kind of want them to be about the same length, one for each pair of earrings. So that's going to go with this one, and it's going to go with this. If you hear my cats crying, I apologize. They do this every time I go live. I was just playing with them this morning, and now that the fun has stopped, they're complaining. So my cats like to play fetch. One of them likes to use a little bouncy tennis ball, like we bought like a tiny little miniature tennis ball, and he likes to chase that. And then my other cat likes to chase aluminum foil that I wrap up into a little ball for her, and we throw it around the house. There's like aluminum foil all over the house because she's obsessed with them. But if you hear them crying, that's why. They're like complaining that the fun has stopped. Okay, so all I did was put my bead through the wire, and for one side of the bead, I'm going to take the wire and I'm going to use my fingers the entire time to press the wire flush up against the bead like this. So this can be a little tricky. If you cut your wire too short, it actually makes it a little bit harder to do this part. So that's one of the reasons, especially if you're working with copper, it's not a bad idea to cut yourself extra lengths and just have some left over, because it actually makes it much easier to work with the copper if it's longer. So just wrap the copper all the way around the bead, so it kind of looks like this, so it's like framing the bead. And I'm just using my fingers the whole time to like press it up against it. Guten Morgen! Wie geht es Ihnen? I don't get to practice my German very much, so even though I was born here in the States, but I grew up overseas. My mom is German, so I actually grew up in Germany. I spent my childhood there, my high school years, and then I came back. I moved back here when it was time for me to go to college. So that's just me. My house, like, we've always spoken a dual language, German and English, but that makes me feel like neither of the two languages are I'm not the best at. So I've actually feel like I've been losing a lot of my German vocabulary. Those of you who speak multiple languages, have you guys ever experienced that? Like, if you don't practice your second language or another one of your languages, you kind of lose it. That's how I feel. So anyways, all I'm doing is ending the wire by twisting it around itself, cutting off that little piece because we don't want any pointed edges. And now I'm just kind of closing it off just to make sure there's no pointed edges and that doesn't come undone. Okay. So your bead should look like this. So you wrapped it around as many times as it goes. And then you can use your pliers to make it more pretty. So if you want them to be closer together or anything like this, you can just go along the edge and kind of press them together. So this is what the kyanite looks like, and now it's got a tail. So I'm going to do the other thing. My son is a major in German, his third language. Whoa, that's impressive. 3 languages. Wow. Oh, you just started wire wrapping. Awesome. Well, it's an amazing hobby. Oh my gosh. Guys, can you tell that I cannot find the hole to this bead and hold a conversation at the same time? I'm so bad at multitasking. Okay, there we go. That's so cool. It's a great hobby. You should definitely pursue it. It's very relaxing. Give it some time. I've learned that you have to be very patient when it comes to wire wrapping. And German, what other languages does he know? That's so cool. I technically learned Russian in school, but all I can say is like 1 sentence, and I'm not even like confident that that's correct. So the only thing I can say, oops, I didn't want to bend this one. Okay, so again, I put the wires through the middle, then using my thumb, I'm trying to keep pressure on the wire as I'm wrapping it around. So it's just going to give it like this little planet look, and you just want to keep your thumb on it and keep applying the pressure and just making small movements. I may have cut too little of wire, so it's kind of giving me a hard time, but that's okay. You just keep the pressure on it and make small little adjustments, and it'll finally spin around. Oh, that's cool. See, I wish I had learned Spanish. I still would like to learn Spanish. I lived in California for many, many years. That's where I went to school. And I'm sad to say that I've never picked up the language. I don't know why. Technically, I can say, okay, so if my one Russian sentence I can say, and if anyone here knows any Russian, please confirm that I'm doing this right. Меня зовут, что это студенты. Wait, no. Меня зовут Rebecca, что это студенты. I think I said my name is Rebecca and I'm a student, which is not true, but that's all I remember from my classes. What do you mean by keep your thumb on it? Sorry. Yes. So what I'm doing, my thumb is just applying pressure. So with my finger, I'm like bending the wire around it, and my thumb is like applying pressure so that as my finger is bending, my thumb is gripping it to get it to go smoothly, like hug the bead. This is 20 gauge round copper wire, and I'm using Rio Grande wire. Doesn't matter. I prefer to use my left hand when I'm wire wrapping, even though I'm right-handed. It's just personal preference. Just try whatever hands work best for you. As you spend more time wire wrapping, you'll kind of figure out what feels natural to you, what gives you the most control over the wire and the tools. So just something to explore. You can try both hands. Depending on the task, honestly, I switch up which hands I use. So that just kind of depends on what I'm doing. So now I'm just squishing the coils more together. So see, they came out slightly different. Earrings are so hard to do the same. I'm just going to cut off this little piece here because we don't want this poking anyone. Oh boy. Don't do what I just did. When you're cutting off pieces of metal, try to make sure you're doing a controlled cut so it doesn't just fly everywhere, because that piece like totally just flew off into the distance. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you. Again, taking time out of your busy days to come hang out with me brings me so much joy. And I just love the questions. Thank you. Oh, does the wire have a thickness? So I only know the gauges of wire, honestly. I just know it's 20 gauge wire. I've seen that in some places they do the thickness of the wire. Unfortunately, I don't know. When you go to Rio Grande, they just have like the gauges. So sorry, I'm not sure the thicknesses. Okay, so here are my 2 pair of kyanite. And you can see they both have the little round shape, and you can decide which one you want facing forward when it comes time to put them on the earrings. So that's what they look like. And now you have some design flexibility. So because of the long tails, we can just make loops at the top and then attach them to some ear wires. So we can just make some loops at the top and attach them. Or we can put, yes, so if, yep. I think the 16 ounce is like how much is on the spool. But I don't really know. I don't know. Head on over to Rio Grande or send me a message and I can send you the link that I used for the specific wire. But Rio Grande is pretty easy to navigate. So just let me know if you have a hard time finding it. Okay, so you can add a gemstone. You can just like run a gemstone on here. You can put copper on there. I think, let's see, I have this bag of some copper beads. So let's see if we find something that we think will make a nice little accent. You could also just make a little loop at the top and finish these because these are adorable just the way they are. You don't need to add anything to them. If I do have like some bare copper beads, but ooh, I think these would look kind of cute. So I'm going to add these to the top of it just to give it a little something. Then I'll make my little loop and attach them to the ear wires. So that's the first design. That's pretty simple to do. Just give it some patience and some practice, especially since it's copper wire. You don't have to worry about wasting any of the wire. You can use time to practice. If it doesn't come out right, just try again. It's all about just practice and have fun with it. Okay. So I'm just going to add these to the top and kind of slide them over where I attached the wire. So we're just going to pull these down a little snug. So they're going to look like this. Over time, the bright copper will oxidize. And I might be oxidizing some pieces later. So maybe I'll throw these in with those. But it's okay for the colors not to match right away. Okay, next I'm going to use my round pliers. These are my round nose pliers. And I'm going to create the little loop at the top to put them on my earrings. So I'm actually going to grab my earrings because I swear I do this wrong every time. If I don't have the earrings in front of me, I always make the loops wrong. Okay, sorry, I'm hitting my camera. So these are all my other copper. This is my bright copper, but I kind of like the design of those beads. And then at the top here, I have some ear wires. Oh no, I'm running low on ear wires. Oh boy. Okay. Sometimes I make my own ear wires. Sometimes I like to purchase some. So today we're going to use ones that I purchased. And it looks like I need to go buy some new ear wires. My favorite gemstone store or my favorite supply store is having a sale. So I probably should take advantage of that and get more ear wires. I was just there yesterday too. It's okay. I go there like every day. Okay. So the ear wires are like this. So I just need to make sure that my loop goes sideways. Okay, so I'm going to grab this and I'm going to make my loop like this. Okay, so once I got my loop, I'm just going to grab my little tweezers here, my little tweezer pliers. Okay, and I'm going to twist this off. So I grab the one end and I just do a couple of twists until that's nice and secured. And then of course you can straighten everything out at the end. It's a little crooked. I'm going to cut off my tail first and make sure that this part is tucked away so it's not poking anyone. Okay. And I'm going to fix this so it's not as crooked because you can see it's kind of hanging crooked. So I'm going to fix that. But first I'll do the other one. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining me on live. Good morning. My cat is terrorizing my stuff right now. Amy. Oh, Amy, that's not your spot. That's my spot. She's like taking everything out of my shelf to try to fit in my shelf when her little bed is right next to the shelf. Go lay down. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm having conversations with my cats. I talk to my cats more than I'd like to admit, but they're my little babies. So, okay, same with this one. I'm just making the little loop. Then I'm going to grab my loop at the top and twist around to finish this one off. Do you guys have pets? Do you guys ever talk to your pets? I swear, sometimes I feel like, especially when I'm come home from a stressful day or something, my cats play therapist for me. They like have to listen to everything, but it's so cute. It's okay. Okay, so now I'm just gonna fix it. So now I want to fix these to make sure. Okay. So we want to make sure that these are going. There we go. And see how this guy's a little bit more straight? So now I'm going to get my nylon pliers. I'm going to use my nylon pliers, which are like my most handy dandy tool when it comes to working with wire. I'm going to use this to straighten everything. Exactly, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure it's important that we talk to our animals. You know, just because they can't vocalize back to us. I mean, they can. I feel like I totally understand my cats. When they meow, I feel like I've learned their secret meow language. But I think it's important to talk to our animals. Okay, so you can tell I'm just straightening everything, just making it what I want. Honestly, most of the time wire wrapping is spent adjusting things like I'm doing right now to get them the way you want. Okay, so there we go. So that's my 2 pairs. And this one's a little wonky still. Okay. So just remember, when you're making handmade stuff, there's nothing like perfect about handmade. Handmade is unique and special, and most of the time, it's got a little bit of like beautiful flaws in it. That's how I like to think about it, because it's just, you know, we're not a factory. We make things with love and intention, and sometimes those aren't going to be perfect. So just keep that in mind. Don't be discouraged if your pieces aren't what you think are perfect, because I think they're perfect no matter what. Okay, so all I'm doing now is just opening up the ear wire, and I'm putting my little pieces on there, and then this pair of earrings will be done, and I'll show you guys what they look like finished. There we go. So all I did was open up the little ear wires at the bottom and put my ears on them. There we go. So there are my copper kyanite earrings. I think these turned out super cute. What do you guys think? Deb, I talk to my little Bella all the time. Exactly. Cool. Glad to know that we all have our little furry friends, conversations with our furry friends. I have 4 cats, 1 bearded dragon, 1 small dog, and 1 hairless guinea pig, and 3 rats. Oh my gosh! That is a dream come true. I really want to have a house someday with land where I can just have tons of animals. We want to get dogs. I'd love to have some chickens. Or nylon? They're, I think that's what, if somebody knows exactly what these pliers are called, please come to my rescue. They're from Beadsmith for sure. They're a Beadsmith brand. I think they're called nylon pliers, but it's like this hard plastic that actually keeps the wires from marring. And this is what I use to straighten my wires all the time. Highly recommend it. It's like under 20. Agreed. We have our own language. It's so true. You totally develop your own language with your pets. Thank you. Oh, you guys are so kind. I'm glad you guys like them. I think it's so true. We totally develop a language with our animals. Like, I have my own little kitty language with them. Okay, so there we go. That's the first pair. Yay, I'm glad you guys like them. Okay, so I'm just going to tuck my wires to the side here and make sure my ear wires don't get inside the trash. Okay, so the next design I have not done before. So this is going to be a little bit of an experiment, but I thought about it last night. So we're going to use these tiny little emerald pieces. And you guys are about to see me struggle with my terrible eyesight because the holes on these emerald pieces are so tiny. We're going to see if this is even possible first because nylon jaw pliers. Thank you, Deb. Coming to my rescue. Okay, so this, we're going to use now we're going to switch to 22 gauge half round wire and 20 gauge square wire. So we're going to use this combination next. I have to check to see if these little tiny emeralds will actually fit on this wire, because I'm not joking when I say that hole is extremely small. I know they fit on 28 gauge. They may not fit on this wire. They fit! Look at that! Sweet. Okay. My plan is a go. Yes, most of the time I try to save these. Hopefully today I will upload this one to my Instagram TV so that you'll be able to go back and watch this. If you go to my Instagram TV or my Reels, you'll see lots of other little demo and video clips of things that I've done. And I do these live sessions every Sunday, unless something comes up. So you're welcome to, or I would love it if you joined me every Sunday. Okay, so you saw I cut a piece of half round wire. Again, I'm just eyeballing it. Whatever, I just kind of grab pieces. So I'm going to do another foot, probably like a foot. I say a foot because it's kind of the only measurement I can think of. I hate getting the ruler out and measuring, you guys. It's so bad. I really do. So if this was sterling silver or gold wire, then I would totally be measuring, because I'd want to make sure that I'm not wasting any wire. But with copper, I get so lazy. Oh, that's so fun. I love it. I know there's some people who make stuff during my live sessions with me, and it's so much fun. And if you guys ever do make anything, if you're ever inspired by me or by my work and you make anything, please show me. I'd love to see it. You guys can send me a photo of it. I would love to see what you guys come up with. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Okay, so I cut about a foot of the 20 gauge square wire, and then I cut them into 2 pieces. So okay. I'm wondering if this is enough wire. Okay, I cut them into 2 pieces, 1 for each earring. So I think I'm going to do this. Okay, then take one of those pieces and cut it again. I told you guys, this is kind of an experiment, so we're going to see if this works or not. Good morning everyone. Good morning. Okay, so now these 2 are going to be a pair, and I'm just kind of straightening them out. Okay, so I'm just straightening these pieces out so they'll fit together nicely. Okay, so the plan, take my half round wire, cut that in half. The plan is to attach emeralds to one of these pieces and then put the pieces together. That's kind of the plan. We're going to see if this, if we can make this work. So this is either going to be good or it's going to be a failure. We're about to find out together. Okay, so making sure I have the flat side. Okay, sometimes it can be hard to tell which side this wire is flat. Okay, with the flat side, I'm going to just wrap it around the 20 gauge a couple of times. You want to make sure it's the flat side facing down. There we go. Okay. Then I'm just going to use my pliers to make sure just kind of press those down and make sure they're attached nicely. Okay. Now we're going to start adding the emeralds. So something like this, when you're working with such tiny beads, can be very time consuming. Oh, that is true. I will always, that's so true. Nothing is a failure really in life. Everything is a learning opportunity, right? We learn from our mistakes. So, I'm just going to string a bunch of these on. I'm going to do like 4 or 5 of them. So this part might be a little boring to watch, and I apologize, guys. I'm trying to make sure I go as quickly as I can. But the hole on these gemstones are so tiny and my eyes are so bad, especially when I'm trying to look through the camera to do this. So I might get out of focus as I try to move closer to it. Okay. I apologize if you don't see very much either. Basically, I'm just stringing on a bunch of tiny beads. These are 2 millimeter. So these are extremely tiny. I'm pretty sure these are the smallest that you can get because 1 millimeter wouldn't be able to have a hole in it. So I got 4 of them. I'm going to do one more, 5 of them. Okay, so I put 5 of them on. Perfect. Hello, welcome, welcome. So I put 5 of the little emeralds on, and then I'm going to, with your finger, you're going to make sure that they stay like this. So I'm going to push them against the side of the wire, and I'm going to hold them there with my finger. And then I'm going to make sure that I have the flat side of my half round. So make sure you find the flat side. Okay. And you're going to attach it to the wire again. So I'm going to twist it around 3 or 4 times. There we go. And I'm going to kind of condense that. I want this to stay flat. So it looks like this now. So see how we atop that. I'm actually self-taught, so I discovered wire wrapping. Me and my best friend started off actually doing beaded jewelry. So we started off by making bracelets and beaded necklaces and just anything that we could find with some string and beads. And somehow I discovered on YouTube one day wire wrapping. And I just fell in love with it. And I was so obsessed with it. So I watched as many YouTube tutorials as I could find. And after learning a lot of the basics from YouTube, I kind of explored different techniques and styles and kind of taught myself after that. So I've been wire wrapping over a little over 2 years now. Maybe a little longer. I guess since 2019. Basically, the pandemic really gave me the time when we were in quarantine. That really gave me the time to sit down and explore more wire wrapping opportunities. And that's really what kind of furthered my wire wrapping addiction. Because that's when I actually could sit down and I had the time to just absorb as many YouTube videos as I wanted. And it was wonderful. I highly recommend Oksana Craft. She's on YouTube. She does full-length YouTube tutorials and lovely beginner work. She's the one who I learned so much from. So I would recommend checking out her stuff. Okay, so all I did now was attach the second wire. So we look like this now. So I've attached the 2 wires. Oh, you can use any wire you want. You can use any metal you want. Definitely any metal you want. So I prefer to use copper. It's the softest metal that I have been able to work with, so I prefer to use copper. But you guys can use anything, really. Craft wire is another good option. So I'm going to start making the second one now. Craft wire is a good option. When I first started working with wire work, I just went to like my local hobby store and purchased the craft wire, which is like the plated metal. And that's how I started. And then I discovered that I prefer the base metals better. And now I only work with copper, sterling, silver, gold, things like that. But start off with craft wire. It's great. Aw, thank you, Deb. You know, it's so funny because the more that I took the time to explore this craft, and especially now, the more that I pour my heart and soul into it, the more I've learned that this is what I truly feel like this is my calling in life. The fact that I get to produce beautiful pieces of art and share them with you guys just astonishes me every day. You guys have no idea. I wake up so grateful and so happy to be able to do this, and it still shocks me that people enjoy my art and that I'm able to share some of my positive energy, because to me, through my journey, I've discovered so much about myself. And gemstones, honestly, like ever since working with gemstones and having them in my house and having them be a part of my life and putting a piece of my soul into everything, it's truly made me a better person. So I'm still experiencing this beautiful journey, but honestly, I have you guys to thank. The encouragement you guys give me and the support makes me feel like this is really where my calling in life is. So, thank you. Hey, Corbin. Good morning. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's wire wrapping and just jewelry making in general. There's such a beautiful community out there. I feel like everyone is so helpful and so inspiring. So it's definitely an amazing craft to learn. I would say next, so wire wrapping, I am self-taught, but for metalsmithing, me and my boyfriend actually took some metalsmithing classes. And I'm not a fan of it. The fire and everything that goes along with it. It's an awesome craft, but it didn't really inspire me the same way wire wrapping does, but he continued with it. So sometimes I have the pleasure of watching him with it, and it's also a beautiful craft. So that's another one. And there's plenty of YouTube videos out there too. You could probably self-teach that, but I would recommend a class for that because it's just like the fire was a little scary. Okay, so all I did was put on 5 emeralds, 5 tiny little emeralds, and I connected it like how I did with the last one. Good morning, welcome, good morning. I'm doing great. Any morning I get to wake up and make jewelry is a good morning for me. Okay, so now, just like with this pair, now that I've got the beads attached, I'm going to connect it now to the second one. So so for anyone who's joining me new, this is an experimental piece. I've never done this design before. As I was going to bed last night, it popped into my head. So we're going to see if this works or not. You guys are about to find out with me if this becomes a successful pair of earrings, or if we're going to learn from our mistakes today. So I'm just going to attach this side as well. But just to give you guys a little more background on me. Ooh, no. See how I just did that and they like bunched up? I kind of didn't want them to bunch up. So that's okay. The wire is still very forgiving. You can kind of stretch it back out. Okay. I wanted them to lay flat, like how this one is. Okay. So a little more about myself. Wire wrapping at the moment is, or my business actually, so me and my best friend started this business back in 2019, and my best friend also is an artist. She does more of crafts. So if you guys ever purchase from us, she does all the packaging. She makes all the cards and everything that goes into our packaging. She does that handmade. She also does, when we do any in-person events, she does like custom t-shirts and custom signage, and so she's very crafty, but she also does make jewelry. She makes some of our beaded work, so she does our bracelets and things like that. But so you guys will see her sometimes when we do events. You'll see her on our stories and stuff like that. So we started our business together back in 2019, and I was going somewhere with this story. Gosh, I am not good at multitasking here. Okay, these look like they're the same, so I'm happy with that. Okay. I was totally going somewhere with that story. What was I gonna say? Oh, you guys, now you get to see how I'm not very good. Normally when I'm wire wrapping, I'm just sitting here with my own thoughts and so engrossed in my work. I was totally gonna say something. What was I about to say? Thank you. Oh, I know, they're turning out interesting. Anyways, me and my best friend have the business together, and so that's kind of how we started, and it's been a wonderful journey. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Gosh. Okay, so anyways, we started together. We both started the business when we were both working as full-time teachers, so both of us are teachers. And now we've been able to work part-time. So she's actually a professor at the State University here in Arizona. She's a professor. And I actually teach at a special one-on-one school for students who need a little extra love and care. So I work with students who need special or might have learning, who need some learning accommodations, which I love doing. So I used to teach full-time at a public school here in Arizona, but now I'm teaching middle and high school. So I'm hoping that someday I'll be able to do wire wrapping full-time. I love working with children. I have always loved being a teacher, but I honestly feel like the calling of my own business is pulling me and me so strongly. So we'll see. Thanks to you guys' support, I'm able to do this. I'm able to work on my business more than I've ever dreamt of before. So who knows where the future will take us. Okay, so as you saw, all I did was take one end of the wire and I split it in half. And now I'm continuing to wrap the half round wire. And this is going to just create like a little design. So honestly, you don't even have to do this part. It's not important. It's not keeping anything together. It's not like structurally sound or anything. It's just design. I just don't want to cut off the last bit of wire, so I'm just wrapping it around until it's all used up, and then I'm just tucking my ends away. Thank you everyone. Okay, so there we go. That's what it looks like now. So this is what I have now. So on the other side, I'm also going to split this up. So I'm going to make this like a V and a V, and you can use these pliers to kind of get everything like straight. So I'm just going to like make sure everything's kind of straight. Same here. Just going to finish this so it gives it a little bit of texture, I'd say. Then my plan is to loop and curl the ends. Two of the ends are just going to be like simple little loops, and then the other ones I'm going to like actually make fancy. Okay, so we're just going to finish. Make sure there's no sides poking us. Okay. Then I'm going to pull these apart. So with earrings, you kind of want everything to be symmetric as possible. And you want them to be opposite. So see how the beads are facing out opposite? So these are going to be the tops. And down here, we're going to have the bottoms. So I'm just checking to see if everything's about the same size. Because if I start off with wires that are about the same size, it'll make, when I make the spirals and loops, it'll make everything kind of look more symmetric. So I'm just stacking them on top of each other, and I'm cutting off any extras so that they're about the same length. Same up here. Gonna just cut off some pieces so they're about the same length. Okay, now I can start doing the fun part, which is the designs. I mean, I guess this part was fun, but more fun. So keep asking me. Whoa, sorry guys, I just kicked my camera. Okay guys, keep asking me some questions. I'm just gonna put my little emeralds away because of how tiny these guys are. I don't want the emeralds to get up and walk away on me. Also, if one of my cats comes crashing through here, they'll drag away all my little emeralds, and that would be very sad. So, hello, welcome. Okay, so now let's do the fun part, which is the designing part. So, I'm going to pick these, this and this. So the part that doesn't, oh, did I do that wrong? Okay, this one's got the design on the bottom. This one's got the design on the bottom. Okay, we're going to do this. We're just going to flip them like that. Okay, so I want to make sure the design is kind of on the same, that it's on the bottom. So I'm just going to do a little more cutting. Okay, that's fine. Just going to trim these again to make sure everything's about the same size. Okay, now we're good. So we're going to make these the tops. Okay, now we should be good. Should we be good? We should be good. And you could just keep trimming. I've just found that when everything's kind of the same length, when you start the process of making the swirls, it kind of keeps everything more symmetric. Okay. So here we go. So I'm going to keep these inside ones are going to be simple little loops. That's where we're going to attach the ear wires. So here, I'm just going to get my round nose plier, and I'm literally just going to make a big loop. Nothing fancy, just making a loop. That's where we're going to attach it to the ear wires. Same here. And you can decide how big or small you want this loop to be. Honestly, I don't have really anything in mind myself. I'm just kind of doing it. So you have creative freedom here. Okay. And then on the opposite side, so on these sides, I'm going to make another loop. And the reason for this is because I think I'm going to add a little dangly bead to the bottom of these. which I might not have time to show you today on live because I do need to end by 9:30 to go to my appointment. But hopefully I will show you guys. I'll finish these off later in my stories or something so you guys can see. But I would just, you can choose to do that or not. I'm just going to add like a little dangly bead. So there we go, making sure that they're, did I mess up? Totally did. Okay, that's fine. You guys can see in real time. See how I wanted the gemstones to be facing like away from each other. So that's fine. We just take this piece and we, gosh, okay. No, there we go. We're good. Phew. Just a matter of turning them around. Okay. With earrings, it can get so confusing because you do want them to be like symmetric but opposites. Okay. We're good. We're good. We're on the right track. Okay, so now I'm just going to make some swirlies. So here, I'm just going to take my round nose pliers. You can make swirls however you want. You can do anything, actually. You don't have to make these swirls even. So there we go, one little swirl. I'm going to put it back because I want to make sure everything kind of stays symmetric. Okay, let's do another little swirl. So swirls are also something that just I've been practicing, and just I'm obsessed with little swirls. So I've just been practicing them. When I first started off, my swirls were not clean at all. They were, I was like, this is not a swirl. But somehow, like just with time and practice, they have improved. Now, sometimes some swirls come out better than others, I'm not going to lie. But it's another one of those things to be patient with, because one day I just was like, oh, my swirls have gotten better. So just keep that in mind. Like, you're always improving as an artist. And the more you practice and the more you try, like, some things will just get better even when you're not aware of it. So okay, so this swirl, I have a little more wires, so I'm going to try to make this one a little bigger. There we go. Ta-da! And same here. And earrings, I'm still like struggling with earrings with symmetry. But that's part of the handmade love. We're not a factory. It's really hard to make things perfectly symmetric. So, sometimes you just got to give yourself credit for what you do. So we can see that these two, let me bring them closer so you can see. See how one swirl is definitely bigger than the other? So I'm going to cut a little piece off here and kind of tighten this swirl so they match a little better. So I'm going to do that. Oop. There we go. There we go. Those match better. Okay. So there we have those pieces. And then I'm just going to be attaching these to the ear wires, and they'll hang down, and then I want to have a little bead hanging off of these, which I'm not sure. Oh no, nobody is. Everybody's got some practice in them. We learn from our mistakes, right? No failure. So there we go. This was a little bit of a trickier project. Definitely the blue kyanite ones are great. They're a lot better to start off with. I would suggest starting off with these, but you can give yourself a little challenge with these ones if you like. I might actually go and hammer this, so I think I might hammer this, and then I'm going to add a little bead off of it. Unfortunately, I won't be able to finish these on. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, you guys are too kind. So I'm definitely going to hammer this, and I'm going to add something to it before I attach it to the ear wires. I'm going to add some beads to it and kind of finish these off. Unfortunately, I do need to end my live session now because I do need to go to my appointment. But thank you so much for coming out, you guys. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for coming out. I hope you guys learned something or were inspired or just had a good time hanging out with me. I always love hanging out with you guys. So this is my chance to get to know you guys and just, have some real talk. So hopefully you guys got something out of this and enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I will do this again next Sunday, hopefully at the normal time of 9 o'clock. I'll post a little quiz in my stories so you guys can tell me what kind of jewelry you'd like to see me make next. And then always thank you for taking time out of your busy day to come hang out with me. I know we all have such busy lives, so truly taking the time to hang out with me means a lot to me. I've really appreciated you guys. Please go check out my stories. Check out my profile. Go show my photos some love. Other than that, you guys, I'll see you all soon. So thank you. Have a wonderful Sunday. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye, everybody. Oh, yes. I can't wait to show you guys. As soon as I get home later, I'll be finishing those. So stay tuned on my stories. You'll see the progress. Goodbye, you guys. Have a wonderful day, everybody.